In our great country, Nigeria, today, the federal government is so passionate and committed to delivering the dividends of democracy to the citizenry. But how truly can we confirm the realities on ground? Well, only on one platform. Welcome to the Minister's Platform. I'm your host, Benjamin Peters. They form the crux of the Executive Council of the federal government in Nigeria. They have diverse mandates, vision and mission statement, all with one set target: to ensure rapid developmental growth of Nigeria. They play a pivotal role to effectively and efficiently initiate positive, workable policies, programs, projects, and most importantly, ensure successful implementation of such policies and programs to realize the federal government's ultimate goal for the common good. They are the federal ministers, exhibiting purposeful leadership, capture their success stories, importance, relevance, responsibilities, functions, challenges, and prospects to ensure good governance through their various ministries, plus a comprehensive informative catalog of each federal ministry, their agencies and parastatals. The Minister's Platform, a unique and great platform to promote the Nigerian brand. Showing on NTA2 Lagos every Saturday from 12 noon to 12:30 p.m. The Minister's Platform, promoting good governance. Welcome to Ministry News on the Minister's Platform, where we put you on speed on latest news information from various ministries, their agencies, and of course, parastatals. First, the federal government has said that the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, was set up as a regulator of maritime safety and security outfit, and that generating revenue is not enshrined in the Act establishing the body. The Honorable Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Chibuike Amechi, made this disclosure at the final session of the 5-day National Council on Transportation held in Kano. It therefore enjoined the agency to focus on being a regulatory authority on issues of safety and security of our waterways. And still from the Ministry of Transportation, the federal government said that the approved design for the Dawachiki Kano train station will be a mega station similar to the Ebute-Metta station in Lagos. The Honorable Minister, Right Honorable Chibuike Amechi, stated this when he paid a courtesy visit to the Emir of Kano. This is as a result of the commercial nature of the city and its link between the corridors of transit. Still on ministry news, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has given the assurance that the federal government was very close to lifting the over 100-day ban on the microblogging platform Twitter. The minister disclosed this Wednesday during a briefing of State House correspondents at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting. And now to the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Issa Pantami, has charged the Digital Transformation Technical Working Groups to support the federal government's initiative on achieving a digital Nigeria. Pantami made the call in Abuja during the digitization hangout with DTTWGs and technology industry ecosystem players organized by the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, recently. The Honorable Minister further posited that digital transformation in the public service was a key part of the government's strategy for developing an indigenous digital economy that will transform the way the public sector operates, creates value, and delivers services to customers. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, has announced that the federal government in Nigeria will be exploring different opportunities to collaborate with the government of Egypt to boost power supply in the country. The minister made this announcement during a visit to him by the ambassador of the Arab Republic of Egypt to Nigeria, Ihab Awad, on Tuesday. Aliyu added that the federal government would reactivate the collaboration between the two countries and also gave a response on when a team from the Ministry of Power can visit Egypt. And finally, on Ministry News, the federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, will be holding a National Youth Conference in Abuja from October 12 to 15. The conference, which is part of the government's commitment to a more open and inclusive government that allows for increased youth participation in governance, economic development and national security, approved by President Muhammadu Buhari, will be completely private sector driven. The event will provide another opportunity to dialogue, harmonize and capture the goals, concerns, aspirations, plans and contributions of the Nigerian youth towards the creation of an effective and efficient approach for future government engagements and implementation of solutions for the delivery of good governance to all Nigerians. And that's a wrap on Ministry News. Up next is an expository chart with the Honorable Minister for Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola San, on our segment, Talking with the Minister.
When I came here,
it was due
This situation significantly led to the twin problem of
the breakdown of the amount established to have been stolen and laundered.
What the federal government is doing is to provide
Infrastructural development, especially in the area of works and housing, are critical and strategic determinants for growth for a country like Nigeria. But first, what is the progress report so far? The challenges and prospects when we talk about infrastructural development in Nigeria, looking at works and housing. It's our pleasure to welcome the Honorable Minister for Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola San. You're welcome, sir.
it's a pleasure to be on your platform.
Thank you, sir. A major critical and determining factor for economic progress is, of course, good network of durable roads. So, Minister, we'd like you to tell us with verifiable statistical data how many road contracts and kilometers of road has this government under your ministry successfully executed, nearly completed, and currently working on in the country?
We are managing now 895 contracts covering over 700 projects. Major networks receive substantial interventions, and if examples can be made, out of 127 kilometers, for example, on Lagos-Ibadan, we've done over 85 kilometers, completed and motorable. On Obajana to Kaba, we've done almost 46 out of about 50 kilometers. On Sokoto, Tambuwa, Jega to Kontangura, which is about 448 kilometers, we've completed about 420 kilometers. On Kanu Maiduguri, which is about 560 kilometers, we've done about 470 something kilometers. Work continues. On Enugu Port Harcourt, which is about 220 something kilometers, we've done about 126 kilometers. So this is going on across the country. The way you feel the impact is the reducing travel time, is the reducing travel cost to commuters in terms of stress and in terms of duration. When the president talks about lifting people out of poverty, these are some of the indices to note. What used to take 4 hours, 5 hours to do is now taking half that time. Roads that used to take a whole day to traverse are now being traversed in a few hours. So as this administration saves you time, it is essentially saving you money. As you have more time on your hands, you become more productive in other areas. So for those who expect that, oh, the president is going to employ 100 million people, that is not going to happen. But the policies and programs of this government will enable people to do a lot more and get onto the ladder of prosperity. Bridges like the Loko Oweto has been completed, the link road to Benue completed, we're finishing the link road to Nasarawa, the Umfum Bamenda Bridge linking Nigeria and Cameroon is completed, the Chachangi Bridge also completed, the Ecom Bridge also completed. There's rehabilitation work going on many bridges across the country. Second Niger Bridge heading towards completion. Abuja Kanu Road work progressing commendably. Many parts of the Kanu to Zaria network out of that stretch is almost finished. The Abuja, the Kaduna to Zaria stretch is also progressing well. We have some challenges on the Abuja to Kaduna stretch, but work is going on. But there are relocation, compensation issues that we're dealing with. So there's a lot of progress going on. Undoubtedly, the infrastructure area is an area where the Buhari administration can claim commendable and very, very salutary progress.
We've just talked about roads now. Let's look at housing.
There's a lot going on in the housing sector. So I will first speak to what the federal government is doing. In terms of actual housing, we are impacting at many levels, at ministerial and at parastatal level. So at ministerial level, we have the National Housing Program, and that program has delivered almost 3,000 units now because they keep achieving completion milestones and we update. There is also a ministerial housing program that I inherited, and it was supposed to deliver about 6,000 units. It's done about 2,950 something, and we're trying to complete the balance of almost 3,000 left. Then there's a cooperative housing program by the Federal Mortgage Bank, one of our parastatals. This does not include mortgages that they have issued for people to buy houses directly. Then the Federal Housing Authority, another parastatal, has about 1,100 and something units across the country also. So we're at the federal government level. Those are some of our interventions. Of course, you cannot talk of housing in the country without talking about what the state governments are doing, and they're doing also their own bit. But all of this is only a small part of what the private sector really can deliver. So, and you will see one thing that has become increasingly prevalent in this administration is the number of private sector developers now playing in the housing sector. We all serve different strata and different levels of the market, but to see them increasingly playing and delivering houses, giving different terms and conditions of payment, is really, really a welcome development and is music to the ears of government.
It's of critical importance that the ministry has, or the federal government has, a strategic master plan or a roadmap for infrastructural development in the areas of works and housing for the country. So what is basically the master plan, really?
In fact, it's good that you ask this question because a meeting that should have held with the Ministry of Budget and National Planning, and what that meeting is to discuss the infrastructure master plan and national development plan for the next decade plus. We're working on that. The interim developmental plan is the economic recovery and growth plan, which was for 2017 to 2021. And as it's coming to its sunset date, we are putting in a new one to take the country for another decade or more. But we have also utilized the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan that I think was inaugurated around 2013 or 2014 by the previous administration, because the problems are the same. So in terms of rail, in terms of airports, in terms of road network, all of the infrastructure that master plan identified, we are now addressing. So when we're talking about the Lagos-Ibadan, Second Niger Bridge, Abuja-Kano, Loko-Weto, Bodo-Boni, those are some of the projects that was on master plan, but that was not funded. But this administration is now addressing all of them and essentially doing more with less. Apapa, Wuroshoki had been built about 40-something years, so it needed a rebuild. So we're addressing all of those now under President Buhari's leadership and directions.
Honorable Minister, we're very concerned about the deep involvement of some state government rehabilitating or constructing roads that seem to be federal roads. And we've seen some governors coming out to say, look, we've spent X amount, and this is affecting our financial power, it's eating deep into our financial purse. Is there some form of refunding done for the states? Or is there some kind of agreement between the federal government, your ministry, and the state government to try to fix these roads?
You see, it is important to set a context for the answering of that question. The country has a network of over 200,000 kilometers of road. Of that 200,000 kilometers, 35,000 kilometers belongs to the federal government. Those are the trunk A roads, or the federal highways as more popularly called. Those are the roads that connect one state to the other, or multiple states. Those are our own roads. But there are state roads, roads that connect one local government to the other. They are more than our own. And the last time I checked, no state government has finished all its state roads. Then the biggest network of roads are actually those of the local governments. They account for over 60% of that 200,000 kilometers. And the last time I checked, all those roads haven't been built. So the question is, you would ask, why is the state governor then bothering with a federal road when he hasn't done his own state road? But I have been there before. There are some roads that the public just don't understand, and they really are not interested in who owns it. It just affects their livelihood. There are roads that have become federal roads that have largely become urbanized. So right in the middle of the city, like the Lagos-Badagry Expressway. So that's why, as governor, I undertook to execute it at the time. And many governors have that problem also. And that's the context about how reform started. So at the time those roads were being undertaken, way back from 1999 to 2000, 2007, this country took $12 billion to go and pay creditors when your roads were in disrepair. That was a policy of the other party. But our sense now is that we must first invest in this infrastructure if we are to experience prosperity. So President Buhari has come to say, I will pay the debt that my predecessors incurred, because it is the federal government that should have done this road. And so we have been paying. So the first tranche was about 500 and something billion naira. I think about 20-something states who made claims. We went round to inspect. I chair a committee of ministers that went to do the verification, working with the controllers and staff from the cabinet office. That was in between 2017 and 2018-19. Then in this second term, we've also approved about 5 or 6 states, about 100 and something billion. I think Rivers and Cross River and Bayelsa got the largest chunk of it. There's a process to it instituted by the previous administration. You must get approval of the federal government, and you must build to the specification contained in the manuals and regulations made under the Federal Highways Act. In the last month, I was in Yobe because we've received some claims again from Yobe, Taraba, and I think Kebbi, who said they were left out. My colleague, the Minister of State for Works and Housing, who is now the Minister for Power, covered Kebbi, and my colleague, the Minister of State for Education, Emeka Nwajuba, covered Taraba, because we have to go and see. But the president has said now, leave my roads alone. Face your own roads, let me face my roads. I will pay the debt I owe, but don't incur more for me.
Today we have cases of abandoned road and housing projects across the country, possibly due to paucity of funds or issues of contractors, the certain sites. What are the challenges?
We haven't forsaken any road. There are roads where clearly there is not enough money. If the contractor is not funded, he will stop work. And much as it is regrettable, we understand it. Building materials are not things that contractors keep. From laterite to crushed stone to cement to steel reinforcement or asphalt and bitumen, they don't keep them in store. So it's when we pay them, they pay suppliers who supply it to them, then they call laborers to come and work them into the finished product. So, but that doesn't mean we have abandoned the project. And again, in order to situate things, these are some of the reasons why you keep seeing that our budgets are deficit budgets to fund capital projects, but not just to fund our own projects, to also pay for the debt incurred by preceding administrations. So when you hear that the government of Nigeria is borrowing, it's not just borrowing for our own projects, it's also to pay debts that previous administrations had incurred. And to the extent that government continues, we inherit the assets and liabilities. We have no issues about dealing with them.
What are the fundamental challenges really of this ministry? And what are the proactive, result-oriented efforts, initiatives and measures taken to address them?
The challenges that we talk about, we have underinvested as a nation, and that is why most of our competitors seem to be ahead of us. But it's a gap that we can bridge. No nation, no society, no family lives better or grows wealthier than its infrastructure can afford. We can't be living on bridges built 30 years ago. We should actually be building bridges ahead for the next generation. So, and this is what President Buhari is doing now, investing in rail, airports, roads, bridges, fiber, pipelines. And so, long after this administration is gone, the value of the investments will continue to sustain the country. So the big elephant in the room is funding. So in terms of innovation, we've used all sorts of things. We've borrowed, we've had the tax credit policy that the president has approved. So that is helping to fund roads like Apapa, Orishoki, Bodo Boni, Obajana, Akaba. And we now see many more people now showing interest. Somebody now wants to take, one private company wants to take up the Otaidi Roku. One wants to take on Enugu Onitsha. So these are innovative ways. We are also using Exim Finance. There's a mix of solutions being put in to address the challenges.
I'm a Hausa man, but doesn't mean I'm a Hausa man, you are Yoruba, you are Igbo. No, let us be together. First of all, do the roads, do the railway, just like what they are doing, we are saying. When you have complete all this.
2 year rent, not 1 year rent. You understand? Some landlords do that. They prefer to collect 2 year rent so that maybe if you rent a year, you'll not be able to move out.
Due to the fact that there are no strict laws that governs or guides tenants.
For like 2 years now, and I have not seen one person ask me to pay 1 year.
Yeah, I like this city because of the opportunity, job opportunities. That's why I like the city. And secondly, it's a peaceful city as well.
This is where the center where you have investment and people can buy and sell or do their investment. But if you go to some other states,
if they are able to decentralize the issue of power generation and transmission, I think we will be able to solve our power problem. They should decentralize the issue of power generation and transmission and allow people to generate and transmit. We will solve the problem.
For federal government to make a difference now, or for us to have a stable power supply, there is need for Nigerian government to diversify, not just having the thermal power stations as only source of power supply in Nigeria. There is need for solar energy, there is need for wind energy, there is need for so many other alternative sources of power supply. In doing so, that will guarantee constant power supply in the nation.
When the federal government do that, they want to give everybody prepaid meter. I think that won't be better. So it be like network, MTN and this Etisalat something. So if they can do it like that, I think government will make their money. But the way they are making it that they should disconnect your lights and you go and pay, I don't think that some of the money is enter to another person's pocket.
I think the new minister should at least study carefully what are the problems actually facing the power. If you should have other alternatives, I think there will be improvements. If the state government can generate their own power, I think it will be better.
Our mandate on the minister's platform is to put the power of information and knowledge in your hands to keep you abreast with developmental issues in the country as they occur. Join us same time, same station next week for another interesting edition. Thanks for watching.